Hello everybody, it's Brian here. You may have heard that it's Elsa's birthday. In case you don't know who that is, that's Elsa T. Dog. That is the dog owned by Mark Morris. So he invited everyone to take part in a thread, a kind of a dog-themed thread to help celebrate Elsa's birthday. And I'm happy to take part in this. Of course, I'll leave a link below to his channel and to the video that got this all rolling. So what I've decided to do is show three records where there's a dog on the cover, talk about three songs about dogs, and then finally one interesting record that will tie everything together. So I should say before I begin that I'm not from a pet family. We never had dogs or cats, although for a time my dad liked to have an aquarium, so we had lots of fish in the house. And there was a time when we had birds. When I was a kid, around 4 years old, we had a bird, and then many years later, my family, or my parents, I guess it was my mom, decided that we needed to have a bird. So she went down to the pet store in our local town and bought a bird and brought it home, and it died almost immediately. Like, it was alive for maybe a couple of weeks. So she took it back. This is a classic mom story. My memory is that she took it back to the pet store and they gave her a new one. And that lasted even a shorter period of time. But when it started to look a bit ill, my dad decided that the best course of action would be to put a few drops of brandy in the bird's water supply. And for the next day, that bird was the happiest bird you would ever have met. But one morning we got up and it was lying feet up in the cage. So that one didn't last either. And then we packed everything up and gave up. So I guess we're not a pet family at all. So let's start with one of the first records I thought about. I had to take two off my list because David and Fidelity beat me to them, but this one was one I thought about really early on, and it's from 1982. This is Rush, Signals, with this lovely hound on the cover sniffing around the fire hydrant here. This is when, I guess, Rush made that change to a more new wavy electronic sound, which I think was quite good. Big track on here, of course, is Subdivisions. And there we have a subdivision right on the back called Subdivision Plan A. And it even has Lurkstwood Mall. So if you've read Geddy Lee's biography, you'll understand where Lurks come from. You probably already knew anyway. This is a pretty cool album. I've always liked it, with a good dog on the cover. Secondly, let's go with an album from 1990 that I didn't get until it was reissued in 2016. I think it was 2019. Maybe it was 2019. That is The Replacements. And you'll recognize right away that this is the variant where there are two hype stickers on the shrink wrap, including the Rocktober Slick sticker. So we have double the hype stickers. This must be worth a lot of money. Unfortunately, this hype sticker covers up the face of the other dog, but there are two lovely looking canines on this record. And I think this ended up being the last Replacements record, but it was supposed to be the first solo record from Paul Westerberg, but his label convinced him to do a final Replacements album. And there are definitely the other members of the Replacements on here, but there's also some guest musicians as well. And because the hype sticker was limited red edition, had written on it, I thought I would show you the record. And another one I thought of really early on was this record from Van Morrison called Veed and Fleece from 1974. This is somewhere around his 8th record, I think. I think his first 8 or 10 records are all really good, although some people do not appreciate him. There's two Irish wolfhounds on the cover, and oddly, I think his hair matches the dog's quite well. So that's a good record with, there's such great songs on here. Very mellow in places. And now three tracks that have something to say, or that have a dog character, I guess, in them, or something about dogs. So we'll start with the B-52s from 1980, the Wild Planet album. You may know this already. There's a track called Quiche Lorraine on side 2, which is not about food. It's about a poodle who's, I think, 2 inches tall. Did I get that right? Something around 2 inches tall, or pet poodle named Quiche Lorraine, who was this kind of flamboyant dog who runs away with a Great Dane. Now, how they're going to make that relationship work, I really don't know, but it's kind of a fun track. And on the inner sleeve, we have this paw prints, I guess, from dogs. There you go. I guess the owner's heartbroken after that betrayal by that little tiny poodle. Okay, so moving on to the Stray Cats. This is rant and rave with the Stray Cats. There's a track on here called Dig Dirty Doggy, which apparently was co-written by the Stray Cats and Dave Edmunds, of all people. Did not know that until I looked at it. And that's a track about this dog, I think who's his name is Hot Dog, half Dachshund, half Great Dane again, who has an expense account and orders food, who likes to watch TV, that sort of sophisticated life. That's kind of funny. Don't think there's any dogs here. No dogs here. Yeah. All right. And then this one from the Pet Shop Boys, introspective from, when did this come out? 1988. There was a track on here, I Want a Dog, which you'll probably not be able to see there, but it's just an electronic tune, just talking about someone's desire to have a dog. And lo and behold, there's the same dog on front and back, I think. So I Want a Dog. Oh, by the way, no, that's all I'm going to say about that record. And this is the last one. I thought I'd pull this one because it's probably the most dog-forward record that I have. It's from Canadian singer Matt Mays. And on this cover called Dog City, there are 484 dogs. I'd like to show you everyone, but I really can't. But you'll see, he asked everyone, or not everyone, he asked his fans to send in photos of their dogs, and he included them on this cover. Now, this album is a concept album written from the perspective of a rescue dog. So I don't think it's his best work, but I do love the cover. And even on the back, you have this animated dog. So all the songs relate to being a dog or the dog's experience, like Dog City. It goes, I mean, you can look at them. It's all dog related. And when you open this up, oh, by the way, there's a dog there on the label. And then you get this poster with all 484 dogs once again, and this kind of vicious looking dog right here. So it's a pretty good record, but it's nowhere near his best record. But it's kind of an interesting thing to have, especially if you're a dog fan. You might want the poster of all these cute dogs. All right, so that's it. Happy birthday, Elsa. Thanks for watching. Hope other people take part in this dog thread. I will see you in the next video.